I do think that despite the Varus nerfs, he will still be extremely high prio, as those nerfs were mostly targeted to those pesky little Varus top 80 players. And we already see the bans here. Rumble, Aphelios, Varus being taken out. Strong bot side focus here from Fnatic, targeting the really strong bot laners in the Aphelios and the Varus to make sure, I think, Upset might secure himself a winning bot lane matchup.
Yeah, no real surprises that we see such a focus down on that bottom lane. With the Vi and the Jarvan taking away from Heretics, they want to get rid of things that Razork can really impact the early game on. They'll pick up the Jhin Sheo to start off. That's Fnatic. And on the other side, Heretics now likely looking towards their mid-jungle. Azir's still up, Talia's still up. You still have those strong picks. Ryze as well still available. Yeah,
Ryze been a very, very prominent pick, globally winning a lot of games. We'll probably expect to see a jungle pick here together alongside Orianna. Anything that can kind of do that ball delivery. Could go for the Malphite, but Sylas is still up and available. You don't really want to give Sylas that good middleman matchup into Orianna plus the ult. So covering the Jax right now. I'm thinking this could be a Jax jungle. It's a historically good matchup into the Jhin Shao, but Sheo maybe is just playing with us. It's going to be the Mundo lock-in, which obviously Belgia had a lot of success on, and is quite nice into the Jhin Shao because it's really difficult for Jhin Shao to just dash into you. Because you're such a juggernaut, you have so much base damage, so much health regen that if Jhin Shao goes in, he can't really get out. He doesn't have any disengage, so really will be able to take a lot of space, and I like this pick for Mundo.
And you're also, you're trying to knock someone back with Crescent Guard or with 3 Talon Strike out of the Jhin Shao. Like, Mundo has his passive, he goes where he pleases. He's going to avoid that first bit of CC. On the other side, Fnatic, pretty stock standard. Corki
Azir, baby. Okay. We're playing Corki Azir. Now on the same team at least. We will not see this mid-lane matchup as we see the response to the Corki Azir lock-in as an Ambessa for Tracyn, which is quite a bold blind pick for the rookie top laner. Ambessa is a very strong scaling top laner. Really wants that level 9 power spike kind of for the CD on that Q, as well as that Eclipse kind of. That's when she starts popping off. So I want to see if you look to ban out the good answers. Classic counter into Ambessa is the Renekton. There is also K'Sante, which is a bit of a debate, but yeah, Renekton already being taken out by Heretics, and I want to see how they do, because now we have a little mismatch. One team has picked top, the other team has picked AD carry, and with so many AD carry bans already being down, Ice might have to dig really deep into that pool.
Yeah, he's looking at things like the Jhin, possibly. He's also played Smolder, but apart from that, every AD carry that he's played has either been banned or picked so far. Does, of course, have a slew of champions he's played over the years. His Jinx used to be really good as well when he was on Vedius, so wouldn't be surprised if we see Fnatic still trying to pinch that pool a little bit. Ezreal taken away. Makes sense. You want to get rid of the ability for Ice to avoid your all-in, to avoid your engage. Also, Ezreal into Corki, he can just stand back out of range of your Gatling gun and farm up with the Mystic shots. So, Renekton and Analyst, the bans from Heretics. Fnatic looking towards their final ban now. You talked a little bit about the K'Sante being a good matchup into the Ambessa, possibly.
Really. It's like a
neutralizing
scaling matchup. K'Sante will do his thing, Ambessa will do her thing, and they're both kind of happy scaling in that matchup, so not a lot of action there. Historically, people prefer the Ambessa side a little bit more, but knowing Fnatic's previous history on the K'Sante, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lock-in here. I do want to see where they go with this AD carry though, because the Vi and the Jarvan ban early on tells me that they want to pick a hyper carry that does not want to get dove. So, Ezreal ban is a little bit surprising to me. I would think they would want to target like the Jinx that you mentioned. I think is a great pick. Jhin as well, one of Ice's classics. And that looks like what he is hovering right now.
I think the risk with something like a Jhin is you could look towards either an all-in support, something like the Nautilus alongside that Corki, just go really hard in the paint, or even something like a Bard if Lospa wants to play it, right? He's a low mobility carry, you have 2 of them in the Jhin and the Orianna. A long-range Tempered Fate can really catch those people out, and then you have Valkyrie, you've got Shifting Sands, you've got the Emperor's Divide, you have a lot of tools to pick someone off if they're in the middle of that Tempered Fate.
Man, love it, I'm sold. When you mentioned the Bard, I see the Bard angle there. I would love a Bard there, but it's going to be the Nautilus lock. Maybe Bard blind is a little bit tricky. This will be the Jax into the Ambessa matchup though. Empyros, before he played LEC, before he was a solo queue player, his name was Jacksplank. He played Jax and, guess it, Gangplank. So this is one of his most comfort champions. Really like it for him. Quite a volatile matchup. You really want to make sure you can kind of get that Counter-Strike off. Like when Ambessa uses all her dashes, that's when you want to go in, because otherwise you can easily space that Counter-Strike range kind of. So really, really cool matchup. Would love to see if we can track that as we see the Rell lock-in as a counter to the Nautilus. And it's stock standard, engage.
Yeah, it's solid, right? If the Nautilus engages, you then look for your follow-up. You go a Fairmounty Crash down into a Magnet Storm. You've got a Mundo Orianna there to back you up if anyone's caught to the side. Public Execution comes on top of it, right? It's not a huge amount of disengage coming out from Heretics. It's more engage when the opposition engages, right? Re-engage, I guess, is where I would look. The Fnatic Nautilus pick does also make sense. It teams up really well with the Corki on the bottom lane, and with the Braum ban, it's your main counter in the lane. Whenever Nautilus goes in, he does not want to be met by a Braum because you're just concussive blows, CC'd, no real escape for you after you use that dredge line forward. But now we get into the real meat of the weekend. Fnatic versus Heretics for our first game of LEC Versus here in week 4. Both teams obviously looking for a win. That's one of the most superficial statements we've ever made. But if Fnatic win, they will make it into playoffs. If Heretics wins, they'll make it one step closer to being into playoffs. They're right on the cusp right now. A win here would be huge for them and obviously detrimental to the teams around them. We've talked a lot about lost returns in the Analyst segment, but you've also got teams like Shifters, SK, who are sitting near that bubble, 1 win behind, but would love it if Fnatic can pick up this win in the first game of the day.
Right, a lot of eyes on this game.
There's just one ice on this game, actually.
He's on Jhin. One thing that I found was really cool, I think, with this Jhin pick is I wonder how they will use that deadly flourish to take space. Because what I really like with Jhin pairings is when you have someone with a long range slow. Let's say you walk up with the Mundo, land the cleaver, and connect that deadly flourish into that. That's a root, that's a Rell engage, that's a kill. So I really want to see them make use of that in the mid game because I think that's how they take and control space. Also have the public execution to follow from a long range. Do think early game it's going to be quite slow. Maybe we'll see some action in the top lane. Empyros may be hovering around to look for an all-in here before the wave.
Empyros running Demolish Triple Tonic up in that top lane. I don't know a huge amount about top lane runes, but on the other side we saw Tracyn going for the Biscuits, I believe. So he's going to be looking for a little bit more sustain in the lane overall. Bot lane's pretty evenly matched. Both the AD carries still running cashback even after its slight nerf on 26.3, which is the patch we are playing on this weekend.
Yeah, so he's just going for the boots, triple tonic, mega econ build. Some people go cashback on Jax. It's more of a preference if you want the boots or the cashback. Either way, it's some money in your pocket for basically no effort at all. Early game, we'll see Jax controlling this matchup, just slow pushing, stacking his grasp up, and if Ambessa walks up, jump, auto attack, grasp, dip out. That's how you trade. Later it becomes a little bit more volatile, but it's really difficult for Ambessa to contest these early waves, so we'll see Jax having a really, really solid push in the beginning.
Serin with the push in the mid lane right now. Phase rush into lethal tempo. Vladi will be looking for that Nash's Tooth. You know, really needs some attack speed on the Azir to have too much control in the lane. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, Ice and Stend do have the push in slightly, but isn't really going to amount to too much. With the cleanse on Upset as well, gives himself that relative degree of safety. There's always this kind of waiting game with a Rell. It's like, when am I going to cleanse? Do I cleanse to avoid getting knocked up with the crash down? Do I cleanse to avoid the shadow after the Shadowing Strike, that micro stun coming out? When am I looking for it? Am I cleansing to avoid the deadly flourish coming out from the Jhin as well? So Upset will be needing to work around that, but with the Shattering Strike getting rid of shields, there's no real point taking barrier.
Completely right. I mean, it's all about timing and choosing when you don't want to die.
Choosing when you don't want to die. Most of the time for me, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes my brain is a little tricky.
Oopsies happen, definitely. One thing I want to track this game is that I have kind of a big different view on these two support players because Lospa, as we've seen, is one of the players that really like to stay close to his AD carry. We see a little bit of fighting in the top. I think nothing more will come out of it, but Lospa really likes to hug Upset's side. He has the highest AD support proximity in the league right now. Meanwhile, Stend really likes to be active on the map. Really likes walking with Sheo, taking space together, and trying to control the bigger picture. So I think there's going to be a little bit of clash in playstyles here. Can actually Lospa and Upset really punish them in the 2v2, or can Stend just kind of run away with the map?
I didn't look at the fact that we were running a little picture-in-picture there, and Upset got the full Mike Wazowski treatment on this graphic, just covering his face with the picture-in-picture. But as you say, 63.1% bot proximity as Vladi and Serin are trading in the mid lane. Serin looking for that final bit of damage, can't quite find it, but Vladi is going to have to recall. Does have his TP, but it's probably going to lose the cannon minion. He has to back all the way off because Serin can walk past the wave and hit him with a command attack. So Vladi will lose a couple of minions here, but should be able to teleport back for that next wave.
Really solid laning by Serin so far, up 10 CS almost, and pushing Vladi back. I thought that was a flash force. Vladi really cocky. This just trying to sidestep the Q and command attack instead, but yeah, big pressure. early from Serin. Really, really well played. I mean, last week, or the 2 weeks before, he solo killed Jojo Poo, and I think Serin slowly, his laning phase seems to be one of his strongest points. Really good knowledge about these mid-lane control matchups, and always seems to be in a good spot. So really impressive from a rookie. Or rookie is a strong word.
I would say very rookie adjacent at most. Like, guy's been to Worlds, been to a couple of MSIs. Like, he has had some experience against some of the best players in the world.
He's a rookie in the LEC.
Yeah, he is a rookie. It's his first split in the LEC, as you say. I see both the top laners backing as well. It's a Sheen into a pickaxe. No real surprises build path-wise. Empyros will be going towards that Trinity Force. I know Ambessa's, some of them do like to go towards an Eclipse first, but Sundered Sky also works really well. Where would you be going in this matchup?
I mean, I think against Jax, just because how you can't really rely on getting those auto attacks in, Eclipse usually is the better option, because if Jax jumps on you, you insta get the shield, kind of block that first burst, and then you can kind of space him. Sundered Sky is a little bit more common in these more long, extended fights. Think the K'Sante matchup, think the Renekton matchup, where you run a little bit more threat. Obviously, you can still go the Sundered Sky against Jax, but usually you see the Eclipse in this matchup. Now the wave seems to have gotten a little bit stuck here for Empyros, and Jax is just holding it, trying to look for a short trade. But
the problem for Tracyn on the top side is that he knows his jungler is on the bot side. And so he can't really push too far up into this, doesn't really know where Razork is right now. So as Heretics using their advantage in the bottom lane, will be able to take the first Drake of the game. Stend looking for Lospa here. Gets hooked out with a dredge line. Nicely done by Lospa. Does take half his health for it, but avoids a crash down hitting onto his Corki.
That was a really good deflect by Fnatic bot lane there. I think they really got out of that quite well. Now Razork has the tempo advantage over Sheo. He took a lot of time taking that dragon. Sheo also up 3 camps already. Really clever pathing. We didn't really track that, and doesn't really need to base. Just standing around.
I think it might be a Drake plus an extra Scuttle Crab, giving him that advantage. We'd have to have a look back at it.
Very likely.
But it would make a lot of sense. Razork snuck around towards the top side, dodges the publication. Good flash from Empyros as well. Razork will claim the kill, but that was all Empyros.
Beautifully played there by the Fnatic top side. And this all stems from the fact that before you saw Empyros hold that wave while Razork was in Fog of War. And Tracyn didn't really feel secure enough to push out that wave. And now he waited so long, the wave was still stuck there, and maybe got a little bit impatient because Razork still had time for that gank. Beautiful sidestep on the execution there by Razork, and really nice flash follow by Empyros will secure them a beautiful first blood and a nice, cheeky little goal lead.
Vladi was able to get the flash out of Serin, but with a shockwave down, Vladi has to go back to base. Razork is stealing away the blue buff, while Sheo and Stend are making sure that he loses a couple of camps on this side of the map as well. In the end, it will still be a slight lead for Sheo in the jungle, but an advantage for Empyros up towards that top side. Actually going Dusk and Dawn, it seems, with the Sheen Blasting Wand. It is that AP on hit Jax that has been making the rounds of solo queue.
It's that AP Jax, baby, bringing it out now. I really like this build. I wonder if he'll go for the Gunblade. I've been trying a little bit of AP Jax as well in solo queue with the Gunblade, Dusk and Dawn. There's a lot of ways you can build Jax, because he can just use any stats, to be honest. There's no bad stats on him, so really high burst potential with this Dusk and Dawn rush. Without the phase rush, will be hard to really play that kind of in and out playstyle in those team fights. So wonder how he will look on the side then, because you will be very squishy when you buy like this.
Yeah, it's also interesting where you do have physical damage on the rest of your team, right? Corki does the physical damage, and so does the Xin Zhao, but Xin Zhao usually isn't really seen as a major AD damage dealer, like attack damage dealer. So you are investing quite heavily on this top side towards that magic damage if you're going towards the Dusk and Dawn.
Oh, this matchup is becoming tough now for Tracyn. He really dodged that counter-strike well, but he's still in this bad spot where he can't push out his wave. His jungler is still bot side and Razork is hovering around this top side. I think we might see another little repeat gank here. Tracyn still no flash, wave is looking tough, and we already see the Rift grubs.
Yeah, with the grubs being up, I'm wondering if we do see a repeat gank or if it's just a play towards these grubs, right? You can see Stend already parts out through mid, now has level 6, where Lospa's still about a few minions away from level 6 himself. It's going to land the staggering blows onto Stend, who now needs to get across that wall because Razork's on the way, has to flash. Magnet Storm a little hasty from our horse Stend in that mid lane.
It's tricky now for Team Heretics because you have no flash on your Orianna, you have no flash on your Rell, and there is an Azir with flash with the potential to make a great shuffle. Jax is now starting to push out top as Ambessa takes a few trades back, but I do think if you're Heretics, you kind of need to concede this because you are running out of time.
Serin doesn't have TP. Ice is going to get caught out, has to flash away from the Emperor's Divide. Because of that, Serin can stay around in the mid lane, get the push out here once again. Lospa about to tick over to level 6 in 2 minions time or so. The grub's begun by Sheo. Razork's going to get chased out. Hex flash forward here by Stend, but with Lospa being 6, you can't go too far forward, having burnt your flash earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, they get the Jhin's flash, but you see all the tension just dissipates the moment that Azir ult is down, because suddenly there's no risk of a Shurima shuffle, and here they're trying to enter.
They jump in with a shockwave follow-up. Razork trying to dive onto towards the backline. Vladi going in as well. Serin so low on mana is going to fall. Sheo gets one with a cleaver in response. 1-for-1 so far. TP coming out as the Jax is going to join the play. Empyros will be here in time, and Stend realizes he cannot get out. Fnatic will claim another. 3 kills so far this game.
I mean, really nice. Fnatic still knew that they are stronger. There's no flash on Orianna, no flash on the Rell. So once they commit, they cannot decommit again. They will be stuck there in the fray, and with the TP from Jax, Heretics just cut their losses. Still got one grub. Will just be an even trade as we look at this fight once more.
So we'll see the shockwave come out here, and I think they assume they can kill Lospa a little bit quicker. Serin, so low on mana, basically only had the mana for the shockwave. As soon as that's used, you talked about it. You can't decommit. You've gone in, you've looked for the play, you managed to get one, but after that, you kind of need to get out, and you don't have those tools left in your arsenal. Public execution coming out as they look for Empyros, who doesn't have the flash on the top side here.
To scrap his way out here, it's a tougher one.
Counter-strike coming out, he's trading back onto Tracyn, who tries to dodge away. Empyros almost had him, but can't quite get in range, and Sheo will smack him across the head with a briefcase. In the end, Heretics do come out on top, but it was damn well close.
Oh, you feel all the muscles tense up in those situations. You really feel you can kind of get the damage, but Tracyn, with all those dashes, manages to bait Empyros in and plays a little bit with him, manages to get out with his life. No flash was able to be used as it was still on cooldown. It's going to come up now together with that Dusk and Dawn purchase, but Fnatic will get a dragon at least.
Yeah, it's good for Fnatic to be able to make this cross-map play. Evens out the dragon score. It was only a grub a piece. The risk is Tracyn could TP in here. Has got the Eclipse now finished. Teleporting on towards the backline. Valkyrie away from upset. Lospa trying to dredge line his way away as well. The curtain call did land the slows, and now Lospa knocked back. And Tracyn will claim the kill. The Drake did fall for Fnatic, but Heretics will take the kill to even out the gold.
Still, you used to use your Ambessa TP for 1 kill there, to be honest. I don't think you really mind that if you're Fnatic. Sure, you got the dragon. Sure, your support died, but a lot of free time now for Jax top is gonna be able to push this wave out. Probably get a plate, I would assume.
Tracyn's already here, though.
He's already here, yeah. And he has that Eclipse now, as we talked about before. Let's see how these item power spikes interact with each other, because it will be tough for Empyros to take good trades now. With that shield from the Eclipse, just blocks so much of the initial damage.
Yeah, I think the risk as well for Empyros is he doesn't have any vision on this top side of the map. Now puts down a control ward onto those Fey Lights, so we'll get a little bit of vision himself, but at any point, Sheo could be coming up through that jungle. His blue is up, spotted out with that Scryer's Orb. A plant used by Empyros to give himself a little bit of safety, but Sheo waiting.
Yeah, Sheo is kind of farming up the storm right now. 100 CS, 2 kills and 1 assist, doing really well on this Mundo. He will be very immovable, and I struggle to see, unless Vladi gets really strong, it will be really difficult for Fnatic's comp to deal with his Mundo. We've seen this Mundo Orianna combo with the flash in with the ball many times, so kind of on a timer now, but nice trade by Empyros. Secures him the push here in the top side.
Does the Dusk and Dawn build give you like more burst, more sustained damage on the Jax? Because I'm wondering if he's being used partly as a way to get through the Mundo to a degree. You do have an Azir who can do that to a relatively good degree himself as well. But
yeah, I mean the big thing about Dusk and Dawn is usually as Jax, when you want to trade, you want to hit the minion wave 2 times, jump, out attack with W. I'll talk about it after this fight here, because we have a little bit of a scrap.
They're going to run away.
Yeah.
Scrap-a-dabba-doo.
Scrap-a-labba-doo. What's poking up there?
Sometimes they can't hear us when we whisper like this, just so they okay. But we can still whisper, it's fine. Empyros going in. Look for the trade. Grandmasters might coming out as well. Razork kept at bay by Sheo.
But the bouncer is here. Look at the bouncer. He's really strong here. I don't think Razork can deal with this. He has no flash, Razork.
He does have the smite, uses the Crescent Guard. Now with Empyros coming across, it's a little bit more risky for Sheo. Counter-strike used for the stun. Public execution flashed away from there. As Fnatic are able to retreat.
Mundo had a business meeting in the back then, but I think he has to walk out there. They were looking for the Orianna ball flash combo, I think, but felt a little bit too squishy. If he added level 11 with that extra health regen from that ult, I think would be a really strong fight there. But good by Razork to not out-attack him before he ults, to make sure he gets that knockback and gets that passive proc off. But as I was talking about the Jax with this Dusk and Dawn, the big thing is that usually you want to out-attack the minion wave twice. I don't even get to talk about Dusk and Dawn. They're always going to fight here.
Stend might be able to get away from this. When becomes lightning coming out, but it's just for the slow. With Serin here, Vladi's going to get pulled back with the shockwave. Lospa joins the fray and immediately Heretics defend. An ultimate for an ultimate exchange in the end. Wave is pushing in.
It's really big for Heretics though. Look at all the time Fnatic gets used here to get nothing. This is still Heretics coming out on top. They have the tempo, they have the wave push, and their Mundo is already clearing their bot side camps. Really nice by Heretics, has a lot of control by this, because now Zhao has to base and reopen on the map once again. And soon Mundo is going to be back with his clear, and then he's going to come top here and look to pressure this tower where Vladi does not have an easy base.
Also got the Rift Herald coming up in 30 seconds, right? So you can see Sheo's pathing up towards this. Stend has been on the top side as well to gain some vision control around this. In 20 seconds, you can go for the Rift Herald. You can then reset in time to play for the Hextech Dragon, which is up in a minute 20. Now, the whole tower isn't going to fall, but it's more plates over to Serin. It's about a 300, 400 gold lead after collecting those. And at the bottom, you can see it's only Empyros actually ahead for Fnatic right now. Heretics, they quelled a little bit of the early storm. They were 3-1 down, but now have been able to fight their way back into the game.
Yeah, and it seems like Jax actually still has a lot of pressure in this bottom matchup. He has been doing really well in these trades. And maybe now I get to talk about the Jax Dusk and Dawn interaction.
No, there's going to be a Rift Herald fight. Razork going in, looking for Sheo, who is just going to chase him down. Stend coming in from the side as well. There's the Magnet Storm. Crescent Guard out by Razork, has to flash away from Ice, who had that deadly flourish. Vladi's going to try and jump on towards the Mundo, but Razork's already down. The Shockwave combo on him. Vladi's sliding in. The counter-strike out from Empyros as well with a teleport. That massive HP shield. Upset. Needs to dodge this curtain call. Tracyn could look with a public execution, but they managed to get the Corki out.
Yeah, and here you see the problem with this Mundo. He's so immovable. He just walks through and hits whoever he wants. You see Razork has to flash out early, but he doesn't care. He goes where he pleases, and he pleases to be on Razork.
And he does, that he does. Stend hitting 500 assists hit in the LEC with that sequence. Great Magnet Storm, forcing the Crescent Guard out early, meaning the curtain call was always available. You can see, again, it's a numbers advantage at the start of the play here for Heretics.
Yeah, I mean, Razork is overstepping here. He's just walking too far up with not enough backup. He needs Vladi and Upset to be closer to retake this river, but his boys are not there yet. The TP is not preemptive, it's reactive, and now it's just a disaster for Heretics. I mean, for Fnatic. You lost the fight, you lose the Herald, and you have to flash out and run with your tail behind your back.
It's one of those between your legs. Yeah. Your tail is kind of always behind your back. It's anatomically where a tail would be. But yeah, between your legs.
Up for debate.
Okay, sure. I'm not a vet, man. I don't know. Rift Herald charging in to the mid lane tower. We'll get the first turret of the game over to Heretics. Gonna get another charge out here as well as Mundo slams it in. More plates over to him. A 1.2k gold lead now for Sheo.
He just took the purple company car and just drove it right into that tower. You're getting so much gold. The fact that you now get plates from the tier 2s as well. Such a big gold influx. Now 1.2k gold up on the Mundo. So ahead of Razork. Now with a dead man's plate, Swifty's shoes, he will definitely walk up and take a lot of space.
It's going to be really hard for them to stop him as well. You do have some CC, you know, you've got a Counter-Strike, Emperor's Divide, you've got the Q3 knockup from Razork. Lospa has a ton of crowd control in his kit, but if you're using that on a Mundo, you're then not using it on the rest of the team because they can be so far separated, right? The Shockwave combo can be a long way away. Jhin can stand a year away and pull out the curtain call. And then the Ambessa can just wait at the edge of the fight and jump in at the last moment when she's needed.
I mean, the freaky situation we're at right now is that Team Heretics has a triple threat comp, but their biggest threat is their non-threat jungle that is just a huge problem.
Mundo is the biggest threat. Like, like everyone is like, oh no, he's just a tank. It's like, no, this guy does infinite damage. He just pushes, and there's nothing you can do against it. Public execution just wide there from Tracyn. Looking to clip Upset's heels, but thankfully his copter was able to keep him out of danger.
Yeah, his tail was not too far behind his back. It's very short on that.
True, yes. Yeah. That's why the Corgi skin is actually the best, because it has a very small tail.
Yeah, behind the back.
If it was like an Irish wolfhound or something with one of those long tails, it's like, oh, well, obviously you're going to get caught at that point. Yeah. Heretics playing up towards the top side. They know this tower is relatively low. Going to try and get in towards it. Lospa is here to try and defend Vladi, and we'll be able to do so for the time being. Empyros with a good push out bot can go into the fog of war, but doesn't have his teleport, so can't be here quickly. You can kind of see Heretics abandoning their top laner to a degree. There's no vision in this bot lane. He knows that he's just stand back.
Yeah, I mean, he'll never get doped. He has shield from his W, he has the Eclipse, he has so good wave clear. He's super fine by himself. Doesn't matter that Empyros gets this push. He has TP to join if Empyros is moving up, and he is in his habitat flourishing right now. His team is taking so much control of the map. Now Mundo will do another little clear. Game will slow down a little bit. I assume we're gonna get the next battle in 2.5 minutes for that dragon. That's probably gonna be the main venture for Heretics, I would say.
Yeah, I think making sure Fnatic don't get to a soul point. That's an easy way back into the game, a Hex soul, when you've got a Corki with the long-range missiles, when you've got the Azir as well. You have a lot of ways of applying that slow from a long range away. Heretics a little slow to the punch on the top side. Fnatic are investing 4 players up here, with Empyros moving, knowing that the bot lane push is coming out slowly from Tracyn, means that he could just walk up here, then reset. Shadow Strike just short from Stend. Empyros does get the counter-strike out.
But now Mundo is going to walk so deep into the bot side jungle of Fnatic. They're going to walk behind this tower and look to get so much down there. There's a TP coming down from, I think it's the Azir. Yeah. He is fine. It will just be 2 plates, but still now Stend is going to walk in, put a little bit of vision, and then base, and then reopen bot side here. So really good crossplay by Fnatic, really keeping the map active and making sure they're not just sitting there and watching the game fall further out of their hands. But now the Dragon is coming up, and you're going to have to fight this Mundo if you want to contest it.
Yeah, still a minute and a half before we have that Dragon, so you've got a little bit of time to talk about the stakes of the game. Heretics can lock playoffs if they get 2 wins. If Fnatic win this game, they lock playoffs and do some favors to the teams around Heretics in the standings. Obviously, we talked about Lost Returns earlier, but Shifters and SK will be very happy if they see the players in orange taking home this win. For the moment, though, Heretics seem to be in a solid position. You know, you've got good scaling in the Mundo. The Jhin will do some damage later on, but on the other side, there's no scaling to be sniffed at. You know, Jax and Azir scale really well into the game. Even Corki can do some damage later on.
Yeah, and Jack's going for the Thunder Sky here second, kind of a hybrid build to be kind of tanky, but also be able to skirmish, because you really need that kind of, not life steal, but like life on hits to get from the Thunder Sky to keep up with Ambessa on the side lane. What I will say about Heretics comp is that they have a lot of things going for them, but they don't have great objective damage.
True.
The Mundo, Orianna, Jhin, Ambessa don't really shred objectives, so you really need to make sure you play for these fights, play for these deadly flourishes, and play for these choke points where Fnatic walks in, because you can't really rush an objective down in the same way you can with like an Azir, Xin, Zhao, Jax, Corki comp.
Yeah, trying to force the fights around the objective rather than force the objective itself. You can see that even from the Orianna build, it is pure damage. It's Blackfire Torch, and then it seems to be a Shadow Flame coming up next. So it's mostly about having the Mundo flash into the backline or walk into the backline and then bursting people out, rather than looking for that consistent DPS across the course of a fight, like the Azir would go for with the Nash's Tooth and the Rylai's Crystal Scepter.
I think line pressure. Razork already taking a big chunk.
Hook's going to come out. There is the Crescent Guard as well. Stend retreats, jumping across the wall. TP coming in as Fnatic look to try and take the fight. Sheo still on the front line though. Counter-strike out from Empyros. Does get iced down as they look for the fight to continue. Still that Shockwave and the Mundo ultimate available to Heretics. They can step back in here. Razork has started up the Drake. 5,000 on it.
Good position by Fnatic. They're holding the line very well there on this banana bush, but they're trying to rush it down a little bit too fast. Look at Stend.
Yeah, Sheo's just going to walk in. Lospa looking at that back line. Serin knocked up with a depth charge, and Stend falls first. Empyros with a counter-strike. Sheo trying to get close enough to the Drake to smite it away, but Fnatic keep him at bay. And that is the 3rd Drake of the game over to Fnatic.
Really nice by Fnatic. Really good patience there. And I love the fact that Empyros jumps in, gets a lot of defensive cooldowns out by Heretics, and then instantly realizes, my job is done. I will not go deeper. Now I will retreat to my battle line where we will hold them. And when they want to come into us, we have our Azir, we have our Corki, and we have our Nautilus hook in case they overcommit. Really well played by Fnatic, and really good control of this objective that was so crucial.
Yeah, getting the curtain call out as well and immediately cancelled by Ice. Well, have a look at this. Vladi gets caught with the deadly flourish. Sheo's trying to step in. Meanwhile, public execution onto Empyros, who does still have his flash and will jump away with the lead strike. Tracyn trying to chase him down, but Empyros escapes at 200 HP. Should just be able to walk away.
A little bit sweaty there. Will be probably the tower for Tracyn here. I don't think they have any TPs to defend this, so will just be a nice little gold influx for him. Really nice play. And now it is when this matchup starts becoming a little bit more Ambessa favored. Early game, we saw Jax winning the trades. We saw him taking these really good short trades with a big ult third out attack and W pump. But now with the Shojin and the Eclipse, she just has so much CDR that she can go through multiple rotations in and all in. And that's where Jax kind of starts falling a little bit behind without that lethal tempo kind of.
Yeah, makes sense. You need something to kind of sustain yourself up through the fight, give yourself that power through it. Maybe even a Conqueror would work in that sort of situation. Vladi has taken a lead in the mid lane, 560 gold ahead now, 2 items complete on this Azir. The Rylai's doing a lot of work in these fights. Obviously, the Swifties for Sheo is negating some of that, but the inability for Stend to get into the fight unless he finds a flank really helps with Fnatic. You saw there, Stend kind of got caught at the start and then never had the opportunity to get onto that backline, which is what they're really looking for, as Sheo steps forward here and is spotted out by the far side alteration and that ward. TP behind Serin. He does have flash, but no teleport of his own. Stend going to try and collapse here as well. Lospa and Razork need to be a little bit careful because Heretics could collapse on them first, but with the Crescent Guard coming out, there's no real way for Serin to join up with his teammates. A great TP in by Vladi, and now Stend is left to the Wolves as well. He'll flash the wall, but Fnatic have found a kill. Will they look for more? Empyros and Upset on the flank themselves.
Well, they definitely will here. Empyros wants to get a double stun here, try to get Stend down.
Oh, his Stend is just down no matter what. The Magnus Storm comes out too late. A hook going to land on Tracyn as well as Ice goes to the mid lane to try and clear out the way, but Fnatic are going to push through this top side.
Look at all that tower damage, and then they will most likely go to try to get this Baron now. Maybe they will not do it. Vladi does not have teleport right now, so they will just take the base and then open and try to do this once again. But that's the issue with having your Ambessa bot without TP. Really good mindfulness by Fnatic to know that Ambessa TP was down, because if she TPs in here, this is a different play. This is completely different. This is pure TP tracking.
Really good stuff overall by Fnatic. For a second I thought they might get caught down towards the bottom side, but Vladi is there quickly, and you can see like Serin has no escape. There's no recourse to get out. And then the collapse coming in from the rest of the team with the Ambessa too far away to cut them off means that Empyros is able to make sure they secure this second kill.
I mean, the problem for Heretics comp is when you don't go first, suddenly you lose a lot of options, because if they just go on your Rell, who's kind of being the one that's going onto Fnatic's comp? Sure, you have a Mundo with flash, but it doesn't really do that much. So you really want to be the one on the initiative with these Deadly Flourishes, Cleaver combo that we talked about before, because if Heretics just lets Fnatic engage on them, it's so difficult for them to counter-engage. They don't really have that kind of snapback peel that, for example, Fnatic would have, for example.
Really all on the Rell. Lospa looks for the hook here. Shadowing Strike coming out. There's TP behind them as Empyros is going to join the play. Upset's there as well. Curtain Call comes out as the damage from Ice is relatively big on the backline, but Empyros is diving in. Serin has to flash the wall. The Mundo going out the hell away from there. As he's caught out, good Deadly Flourish is going to land. Crescent Guard out from Razork as he looks for Ice, but now he's isolated himself. Razork very deep in here as Tracyn looks for the chase. Vladi goes in immediately as CC is taken out. Fnatic look for the fight, they overextend, and with Razork and Vladi dead, Heretics will turn their eyes to the Baron.
Oh, that was the over-eagerness we've seen from Fnatic time and time again. Razork really going a little bit too deep there. They had the good initial fight. Empyros gets so much space with those counter-strikes, but now it will be Heretics taking this Baron. I'm going to rewatch the fight later. Up to try to get a mid-tower, but that's just a consolation prize. This will be a big win for Heretics.
Have a look at it, yeah, because Sheo and Stend and Serin are looking for something here. Fnatic like, if we TP in, we can take the fight.
Yeah, look at it. The TP is really good here. Emperors will come in here and land a massive counter-strike, and it's really difficult for Heretics to kind of fight back here. They have to flash out. Mundo flashes out. Orianna flashes out, and here is where Fnatic, you have to slow down. But Razork sees an angle, goes for it, but doesn't really have anyone to follow up with him. And now, the moment that ult goes out, it's so easy for Ice to slowly shoot him there. And now it's just an easy Baron take for the Heretics.
Yeah, really good instant CC on Vladi as well as he went in. He was looking to get that Emperor's Divide down, but Magnus Storm comes out, he's immediately stunned up, and then with a public execution over the top of it, really hard for him to actually do anything now. Heretics do not have those ultimates available. The Shockwave is just back off cooldown. Stend is getting chipped down, and this is the Hextech sole fight for Fnatic. Heretics will continue to try and play against it, but Razork jumps in onto Tracyn. Public execution still a while away from it. Mundo ult as well, still not back up. 7 seconds on it. The Drake is down to 2,000. Sheo goes in and gets the Dragon. Will Heretics be able to get out of the fight? Vladi falls, Serin takes him. Dredgeline in from Lospa, but Tracyn's doing so much work on the backline. Upset and Empyros versus Sheo. Serin is trying to get out of here. Sheo should be able to ult and walk out. Counter-Strike won't get him in time. In the end, a 3-for-3 exchange, but the Dragon goes to Sheo.
I mean, Fnatic's just playing so fast. I really like this attempt by them. They almost got away with it as well, but it will be Sheo securing the smite there. But what else? What other options do you have with Fnatic? If you allow Team Heretics to set up the map, just push down those waves, you will lose this Dragon eventually. So really good play here. Engaging on the Rell is so crucial, because if Rell can't engage back, there's nothing Heretics can do. Look, they're all just looking at them right now. You just have to walk up with his Mundo, but he's not that strong. But he does end up getting into this pit and crucially winning the smite fight. But in the end, Upset does a lot of damage on the back end of this fight. And Tracyn tries to make something work here, but doesn't really have anything now without that Rell.
Yeah, good ultimate as well with the Shockwave, distracting Fnatic as Sheo is walking in. 240 on the Drake. Not the cleanest fight, not really what you want after securing a Baron, but now Heretics have a little bit of time, 40 more seconds to push in with this Baron buff. They'll get the wave in the bot side and get the tower alongside it, taking the turret score up to 5 and their lead up to about 2.3k.
Yeah. It's a slow build-up now again for Heretics. The game will slow down now. Baron is in 3 minutes and 30, so it's all about pushing out your side waves, getting those small vision pockets, and slowly trying to get Fnatic to take less and less space on this map.
Waiting for those flashes to come back off cooldown as well. Only Stend has his at the moment for Heretics, and only Upset has his for Fnatic. Next fight, probably in about 2.5 minutes or so, around the next Baron, or even around the next Drake. We could see an exchange. That does happen sometimes. Maybe Heretics willing to give up the soul to make sure that they can take that Baron and go for the push. With 3 items complete on Ice and 3 on Upset, the AD carries are relatively evenly matched, but the big discrepancy, the gap currently is in the jungle, with Sheo having a 1.2k gold lead, 217 stacks on his Heart Steel, and with a Spirit Visage complete. You can see Oblivion Orb already from Vladi. He knows they need some of this healing reduction. They don't have an Ignite from their support, so really it's on Vladi to get those Grievous wounds down.
Definitely mind the gap here. Sheo tries to take this red buff, tries to take a bit more space. Last time they fought around there, it went really well, but we'll concede this red buff. Razork will now take a little bit more space. You see he has a lot of people backing him up right now. They want to try to get a little bit of vision in this river so they can see what Heretics is doing, because as we talked about, Heretics doesn't have great objective damage. They need to pretend to start this and then go for the fight. But if Fnatic just calls their bluff and just says, we know you won't do this, we're gonna go for 50 and then the smite, and then the fight. They're kind of winning out on it slowly, so Heretics really needs to do something with their lead right now. Needs to take more space and look for this Deadly Flourish picks that we keep going back to.
It's always just a bit tricky, right? Sometimes you get very quickly outnumbered. Serin in the top side does have his teleport, but when he's not there for the start of the fight, not there for that shockwave on the backline, becomes a little bit more precarious, as Sheo is going to walk through the mid lane here, a little bit isolated. Still that Deadly Flourish a possibility from Ice, long range clipping onto Upset. At the moment, Heretics only really playing around 2 lanes. You can see Tracyn realizing, oh, I need to get down to bot to catch that wave that's being pushed in by Vladi right now. Serin also perhaps realizing.
I want to see how Empyros uses. Ooh, I
mean, it's a lot of damage from the cleavers.
Yeah. I want to see how Empyros utilizes the Sonya's Hourglass in the fight, because that is such a big item for the Jax. You can do so much with the Sonya's Hourglass. Getting another rotation of your Counter-Strike off just creates so much space in the fight for your team. And I feel like with their frontline being kind of weak in the Xin Zhao and the Jax, it's all about how much time you can waste, because you're not tanky, but you do have the Xin Zhao ult, the Guardian Angel, the stopwatch there from the Jax, so that's kind of what you're playing for. That's your front line. It's not really your health bar, it's that kind of time you can buy.
Yeah. Also being helped out by the Bandle Pipes coming out from Lospa alongside that Locket. Locket for the shielding, obviously, but Bandle Pipes, when you have these champions that are so reliant on auto attacks, it's so nice to have that attack speed buff across the team. On the other side, Heretics picked up some big items as well. Rapid Fire Cannon now completed for Ice. Sonya's Hourglass on Serin. He's been isolated in a lot of these fights, standing back, but when Emperor's Divide is on top of him, it's hard for him to get the hell out of the way. And so we'll see how effective he can be at using that Zhonya's just to avoid damage in this upcoming fight. Heretics will gain control over the bottom side river. Fnatic walk towards the top side. We talked about a Baron for Drake exchange. It's a possibility. Vladi caught up with the root here. Flash in, shockwave, Vladi's down! Vladi's down immediately! Beautiful play from Heretics as Fnatic left unawares, left their mid laner to die. Razork dives back in, but his Guardian Angel will not sit on his shoulder any longer. Heretics immediately collapse, and with a blink of an eye, Fnatic are destroyed.
I mean, we were talking about it all game long. The Cleaver into Deadly Flourish into Shockwave. What a beautiful setup by Heretics there. Really catches Vladi off guard. Their Fnatic really tried to bait. If you go for this Dragon, we're gonna go and take the Baron instead. But now, Heretics, they don't care about the Baron. They do not care about the Dragon. They care about the base of Fnatic.
Empyros and Upset have a mammoth task in front of them. Lospa there as well. Emperor's counter-strike goes out, dashes out with the leap strike. Heretics do not have a wave here for quite a while. There's a huge wave down towards the bottom side, but instead they'll turn their attentions towards the Drake. They take the inhib, and they'll begin to back off. Will they just immediately rush the Drake here? You've got a couple of seconds on Razork, should be able to get it, but with a Hextech Gate, it's a little tricky for them to make sure they get it.
Overzealous by Heretics going for the inhibitor instead of just making sure you get the objectives for sure now. Fnatic might be in time to contest this.
And even if they can just slightly contest it, then you have a Baron fight immediately afterwards. So with the TP behind by Empyros, he gets that massive shield. Tracyn caught out with the Dredgeline. Sheo still sticking on the Drake, and he will get it. Magnet Storm coming out. Stend will fall. Fnatic find one out of the fight. Tracyn still has his flash if he needs to escape the clutches of Empyros, but can just dash away. Fnatic now can turn their attentions over to the Baron. They have to be slightly careful though. There's double supers in the mid lane. Razork caught out. Crescent Guard coming out with the curtain call on top of it. Sheo looking for that backline. Empyros going to be forced to leap strike away. Another curtain call coming out, and Razork is caught out by it. No on-call for him. As now Heretics step back in. The flash in from Vladi finds Ice. Tracyn here to join the fight. Serin looking for that shot break, doesn't have it up right now. Vladi's going to chase down by him. Sheo and Tracyn doing so much work on the backline, and Empyros and Lospa are lost in the river. Your Empire no longer Empyros as Serin claims the double. And now Fnatic, who tried to take the fight around the Hextech Drake, have found their Nexus will be forfeits.
And this is a back and forth constant brawl between these two teams as Heretics will take the fight, will take the Dragon, and now will take the base of Fnatic as they look on this Nexus with great joy.
Incredible team fights from Heretics. The speed of the engages on repeat. Heretics will claim the win, will take themselves to 5, will separate themselves from the chasing pack, and now are just that one step closer to playoffs.